Today we're working on claves rhythms. We're going to focus on the Son Claves rhythm. I'm going to play a little bit of that for you, and then we'll talk about it. Alright, so what is the Son Claves rhythm? Well, there's many different ways to learn. So I've got the annotated rhythm here. Okay, so then if we count it out, it reads as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Right, so you're going down, 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 up, down. And when you're playing it in a funky rhythm, you're going to want to go with your hand. So your hand is just keeping time, and then you're with your right hand, or if you're left-handed, then your left hand, you're keeping the time, you're keeping the rhythm, and then with your left hand, or your right hand if you're left-handed, then you're pressing down, right, to create the, right? So you'll hear this rhythm in a lot of funk music. Most recently, in a giant hit, it was probably Get Lucky, which I was playing earlier, by Daft Punk with Pharrell Williams up at the Crown of the Continent Guitar Festival before it closed down. I got to play it with Nathan East, the bass player, who played on that song. So, and he also plays with Eric Clapton and a few other guys. He's really good. Check him out. His solo stuff is insane. If you're a bass player, check it out. He plays the bass unbelievably. So it's It's a great way to practice the claves rhythm is with this. So A minor to C major to E minor to D major, right? So it's again, let's play it slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 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 2 and 3 and 4 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. What a cool tool, right? 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and make sure to just keep this going, right? And you can even think about it as down, 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 up, down, right? That can help a lot if you think of it that way or listen to the rhythm in your head. You'll hear it in a lot of dance music and salsa too, this rhythm. So just really start it slow. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, right? And now you've kind of got that. So I'm going to keep moving, even though I know that when you're first learning this, especially if you're a beginner, you might even want to do it on one note and really just practice emphasizing that. Although doing a chord is going to make it a little easier because you can more easily mute and tap, which is really the key effect, is that you're strumming with one hand and then you're muting and tapping with the other, right? So when you're not playing, you're muting, and when you're playing, you're pressing down, right? And so here's a song that I used it in called Farewell Little Windmill. Right, so if we break that down, we're starting on this kind of funky chord. These are all kind of strange chords. That's why it's probably a good exercise, is what I was thinking. So you've got your ring finger is up on the 9th fret of your D string. You've got your pointer on the 7th fret of the G string. You've got your middle on the 8th fret of the B string. And then you're also using your finger across, your pointer finger across, to also hit the 7th fret of the E string. Right? Then you go down, and you've got, these are pretty simple. You've got your ring finger on the 9th, and then your pointer finger is across the 7th, right? But you're on the 9th of the A string now, and then the 7th of the D, the G, and the B. And then you go down to the 7th with your ring on the A string, and then the 5th with your pointer finger on the D, the G, and the B. And then you go back up to ring finger on the 9th with the 7th barred. Okay, so that's the chord progression, right? So let's do it fast really quick, then slow. Right? Now slow. Now, if you want to do a Rumba variation, this is a good time to talk about that. This is also really fun to throw in, and I do this in the song. I throw in every now and then, I do this Rumba variation of the claves, which is just, instead of hitting the 4 at the end of the phrase, you hit the and of the 4. So it's getting a little sloppy. I just wanted to mention the Rumba because it's kind of fun, and you can throw that variation in, but today we're focusing on the Son Claves. So again, this is Farewell Little Windmill, and it goes... Now I'll do it fast. Right? So when you break it down, these chords are built around being able to move your pinky, right? That's why I chose these strange chords. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and... I don't think of it that way, right? Because once you memorize the muscle pattern, at first I was counting it constantly, right? But then you memorize the muscle pattern, and it just gets ingrained. It's the pinky on the 10th, down to the 9th, down to the 10th of the B. So you're playing that first chord from earlier, but then you're also adding your pinky to the 10th for the first 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Then on the and of the 2, you're moving down to the 9. Then on the 4 of the second half of the phrase, so the last beat of the phrase, then you hit the 10th of the B string. So here you're up on the 10th still of the B string. Now you use your ring finger to go down to the 9th, to the 8th, then down to the 7th. So now you start with your pinky on the 7, and it's slightly different because whereas before we were playing 3 on the first part, this time we only play 2. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. The 1 this time is going to be up on the 10th of the B, so that we can land back. It's on the 8th of the B, down to the 7th of the B, and then we land back by the time we get to the 4 on the 7th of the G. So right, and then so now this one's a little bit more mimicking that one than it was mimicking the first two phrases, because now it goes to 2 on the ninth of the G, and then from the 8th down to the 7th of the B, and then 2 times on the 7th. Right? Okay. So that's it for that phrase. I'll play through that entire phrase. So remember, I'll first play the chords so that we remember the chords. Then I'll play through the phrase. I'm going to do it kind of quickly so that we can keep moving, because you can always rewind if you want to see this slower. Next part. Okay, so okay, it starts on the E up to the G, so then it goes down to the D up to the G. So your G is landing on the 4. The rest of the claves rhythm remains on whatever root. And then the C goes up to the G again. Then it does a little walk up from B, C, D to E. That's not the claves rhythm, so you don't need to worry about it. It's kind of that Gucci gang, Gucci gang, Gucci gang rhythm. The 16th notes without the last. Or is it without the first? Yeah. It's E and a, E and a, E and a, E and a. So anyways, so that's that. That's the whole thing. Again, the last part might even be the easiest if you're used to playing power chords. If you're not, it's going to be the hardest. And that slide can get pretty difficult when you're going from the C to the G back down to the B in time. So I'll play the whole thing, and then you've got a couple things that you can work on to work on claves rhythms. One's a little bit simpler, which is Get Lucky, right? Because that's just chords. I mean, you could even play it down here probably. And then, although I think that they're definitely playing it up here. And then the other one is Farewell, Little Windmill. Something like that. Anyways, thanks for watching, you guys.